Hello, everybody. James here. Now, this isn't the usual introduction you may be used to. You may be used to the music. That'll be coming in a minute. This is more of an explanation of why this episode is so short, and the reason is Don's internet died halfway through it, and because he records very late at night and I record early in the morning, owing to the massive time difference between us, he didn't want to wake anybody up to help him restart the internet, so we're just going to leave it how it is, and then we'll probably get to the rest of the questions at a later episode, hopefully. But for now, this is why the episode is like 29 minutes long instead of the usual hour plus. So, hope you enjoy.
From Sunset Beach, Hawaii, weighing 267 pounds, the magnificent Muraco.
Why is it they call him magnificent? The man who lifts condominiums off his chest. Anything that's explosive, anything that's exciting, Prince of Darkness, Master of Destruction, perpetrator of violence. Get ready! I'm gonna burn this place down!
Hello, everybody. James here, Don Muraco's Magnificent Podcast. Plugs, Amazon, Owen, Hart and the Rock Books. Do you know, it only really occurred to me that I should actually be plugging, because I think some people only listen to the audio version. Hey, we're on YouTube. And also a lot of people watch on YouTube but don't realise there's an audio podcast. Hey, there's an audio podcast, you can listen there as well. And for now, we're going to be asking an hour's worth of questions from fans, all about Don's trip to Japan in our little two-part Japan trip special, I suppose you'd call it. All right, then. There you go. The intros get better every week, man. They do. Right, you ready for an hour's worth of interrogation?
Sure.
Oh, good. Right then, first one. Thumb Bundy. Please ask the magnificent one what's the weirdest thing he ever purchased from a Japanese vending machine during his off time while over there. We hear stories in the States about the crazy things they sell. He's got to have an interesting tale, eh?
The beers and whiskeys, and they'd sometimes coming back to a town or something. They'd have a little square in a town with just a bunch of vending machines and stuff. You get the hot noodle, a cup of noodles, and they'd have other things in there. I never went that deep, being from here, and I don't go for fish that's been sitting around for a day or so, or whatever. However,
Well, speaking of fish that's been sitting around for a day or so, I think this question asker is hinting towards maybe purchasing some ladies' undergarments in a vending machine, that kind of thing. Did you ever see that?
Oh God, I don't know. That's one for Tony Atlas.
Pardon me. Sorry, I was actually getting a phone call then.
That was me?
No, that was me. Sorry, carry on. Tony Atlas and the vending machines.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure they did. God damn. Honestly, I was never that interested in buying ladies' underwear. I don't know if they were selling them or not. I suppose they were. I wouldn't be surprised. I didn't see men's underwear, so I never really looked. In the hotels, they carry all a lot of bathroom. A lot of shaving. Toothbrushes and razors and toothpaste and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if the Japanese had, ladies' underwear or something. I'm really out of my league there.
Well, we're talking the second-hand ladies' underwear that maybe the less or more discerning gentleman might purchase and do whatever godless thing with them back in the safety of his subterranean bunker.
And then again, I refer to Tony with this, going back to his room with his shoes.
Yeah, what's the shoe thing? Right, so I've heard him explain it, but I mean, specifically, was he stealing people's shoes or was he asking for them or what?
I don't know if he was stealing. He was. We'd go after lunch. If we go, in Japan, where you go to lunch, you have find a place. There's a lot of nice. You've been there. So, there's a lot of places to eat and stuff. So coming back or walking into the hotel, he would kind of split up from the group, or depends. I think it was me, Tony, and the Sheik that kind of hung out together. So he would split off and disappear. And me and the Sheik would make it back and be back at the hotel. You just see him coming back with a pair of ladies' high heels or something,
Mm-hmm.
So taking it back to his room to have a go.
Yeah, you can have two goes, one for each
Yeah,
foot.
one for each foot. Yeah, one for now, one for after the matches.
Yeah, give us something to look forward to. We'll move on then swiftly. Carl Hamrahan, what was the wildest encounter you had during your nights on the town in Tokyo?
God. Well, we had a couple of nights. As part of a sponsor took us out. And there's a karaoke bar one time. And guys were drinking pretty good. Oh, one time Dusty and I were leaving. We'd been to a sponsor took us out, yakiniku, the Korean barbecue and all you can drink and everything else, So then after that, from there we went to a nightclub type, dark nightclub kind of place with the guys who were singing karaoke and stuff like that. And we'd had it, I was tired, long day, on the road and stuff. So I was, so Dusty saw me or I saw Dusty. I said, let's bag back to the hotel. I'm gonna sit here and drink. I'm full. You want to eat. Me once I ate and rice and meat and kimchi and all that stuff. I'm not ready to get down and start drinking. A couple of shots of tequila, but that's another story. But they were down and the drinks were free, but we can afford ourselves. Let's bag. So we started to go. So we're in the car going, the taxi driver. They had the buses had the office had taxis available for us waiting. So we go in hotel. So out comes Andre, Sheik, Atlas, Murdoch, Billy D. Bunch of guys. Hawking came later. That's the one. But anyway, Sheik comes running out his pants here in shreds. He looks like him in. Look what motherfucking Giant. Look what he do. So Giant, you see, he had a tear in his pants in the back pocket. And Andre stuck two of those massive fingers in his pants and just whoom, ripped it right that came right down. Just ripped all his pants to shreds. This is back in the bar now. You see what I do? And he had the paper unfolding and unwrapping, and he had a little pocket knife. I did picking Giant. Andre and Cos always had heat for some reason. I don't know. But I take it, and it's taking him 5 minutes to take the knife. It's all wrapped up in paper and string and everything else. And I'm like, Dusty looking at me. Let's go, bro. See, we didn't need that kind of drama to get get into anything, what was going to go down. A bunch of guys being drunk at a bar. We're out of there. I don't know what happened after that. But
any other stories with Andre and Iron Sheik getting into it in one form or another?
No, that was about, that we had it. But, no, I don't remember anything.
No, okay.
That was one night they were feeling their oats.
When they used to wrestle, would Andre, I don't know, sit on him or something like that to teach him a lesson? This is the Iron Sheik I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I just squat. You get that thing where he gets you in the turnbuckle and he get his ass against you, and then lay on the ground and lay on like you did Bam Bam, lay on top of him for 30 minutes before go for the finish before the time limit came out. Yeah, Giant could be a real pain in the ass if you weren't. Not for me. For me, I was be embarrassed working with him because he'd say, "Get up, you fat bastard," because he would just sell me like like I was Superman or Batman or something. Just and he'd be down there, so get up, nobody's gonna believe this, and he'd just giggle and laugh and would make me work, beat the hell out of him. I do a bunch of spots over to get him over at first, and if he was in a silly mood, he'd start something, and I'd throw a punch or something, just out of the blue, and boom, and it'd be like a 45 hit him, he'd go down, he'd go, oh, don't start, Andre, really, no, and you're not going to pick up the giant and say, okay, time for a comeback. That's enough. You're not moving him around. It's just when he's ready, he'll come back and he'll make his comeback. But until then, you gotta look, keep busy.
Yeah, I'll move on. Next one, Alan Partridge. What was the state of Japanese wrestling when you first went over? Was All Japan and New Japan ruling the wrestling world at the time? And what were TV viewership ratings like?
Ratings, I have no idea. Although I imagine, probably second to sumo. Then golf got big. But at first, wrestling was really big, and then I don't know how much it grew, but wrestling's always been, for some reason, the Japanese people are really all, since Dozan and the guys, they started going over there. But what was the other part of that?
All Japan and New Japan with in fact, let me have a look, actually.
Oh, the wrestlers are great. The wrestlers they're all Takachio. Who was Takachio? He was the first guy that blew the powder. Kabuki, wasn't he? Maybe it was Kabuki. I knew him. L.A. He was in L.A. when I was greener than grass, and he'd come from Japan, and he was he was like Saito. A lot of those guys were just and like Saito didn't like Japan, so he worked the United States. He was a big card, big honcho with Inoki and stuff. Was one of Inoki's young boys growing up, and then they let him go. They said he lived in San Francisco and Florida, and finally New York. And then he went back. I saw him. He stopped here. He had Parkinson's he had his Japanese wife, and the girl Linda Bade. I just saw her. Her on Facebook, and she made an appearance from Parts Beyond. So I don't know what happened to her. But yeah,
do you know, because you mentioned Kabuki, why don't we talk about Kabuki a bit? Did you ever wrestle in?
Takachio, yeah. Jeez. Before he got to talk, when he was around LA and stuff, when he was, they're the Japanese guy, their bumps are precise. They're all doing those hard judo bumps and stuff like that. They all worked hard, and see, they were safe. And I talk about guys not hurting you. These guys weren't going to hurt you. You might have moved and maybe they chop you in the nose or chop you in the mouth or something. But that was total. And I don't know that happened or how many guys that happened to. But that would be an accident, something like that. They, like working with them in Japan. They weren't stiff. They weren't nothing. They were all professionals, almost to the except some of the big shots like Baba, Sakaguchi, and some of those other guys. They were just head honchos.
Give us the. I think it's well documented now, but give us the Green Mist, how that was performed.
Yeah, I don't know, just kind of powder or something.
Well, as far as I know,
right.
Yeah, something like they filled like a prophylactic, and then just kept it in the mouth and then bit down when they went to
yeah. Well, that pace, yeah. Well, that's how I used to get blood too, and I keep draw some of your blood, keep the prophylactic in your mouth, and then I did. Then Koloff came off the top rope on my neck, and and all them started bleeding all over the place, running out of your mouth.
Did you have to make sure not to get like a pre-lubricated one, so it wasn't like slopping around in your mouth beforehand?
Yeah, probably. Come to think, I think one of them flew out of my mouth one time. punched or hit or something, boom, and you can see him bouncing around there. But a lot of funny things go on.
Was the green mist purely just water and food coloring, or was there like a special green drink out there that you could use?
No idea. No, I was with Fuji. We always had the powdered salt, and the cloud. We didn't have the colored stuff.
I think it was with Great Kabuki. I don't know if it was like a Jim Cornette thing or something that I heard, whereas like he normally blew the green mist, but if he went with the red mist, boy was he meaning business. And somehow the red was more poisonous.
Could be.
Oh, if you got onto the blue, then you were really in trouble, let me tell you. Next question, Peter D. Japanese wrestlers are regarded as being very stiff in the ring, especially against gaijins. Did you experience it personally?
No, good workers, all of them. Well, not all of them, majority of them. All good workers. They got stiff. It would probably be the boss setting them up. Whoever, the office. This guy's been a problem or something. Go and knock him down. I don't know that ever happened. But no, they were beautiful. They were easy to work with.
Your last tour in Japan was with the War promotion, wasn't it? I think this was 1994. I've not got this written down.
Yeah.
Why did they... In fact, who was in charge with War at the time? Do you remember?
Tenryu. Genrico Tenryu.
So you wrestled Tenryu quite a lot as well, I think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, he was a sumo. He went through sumo school, like Tonga and a couple other guys. He was a sumo, and then he got up, and I took care of him in Florida. He was in Florida, and I was around there, and have him ride with me, and get him high, and have a good time in Florida. And that's how, I got him, Tonga, a bunch of those guys, were like island boys, they're like islanders. So you kind of, Japanese and find sushi or find a place, a Japanese restaurant with raw fish or something like that. Guys from Japan, they treated you well when you were over there. And they just returned the favor when they're over here.
With Tenryu, as I say, I don't know anything about Japanese wrestling. Can you give me sort of like an overview of his career and how big of a deal he was?
Well, like I say, he's a former sumo. How he got out or what, I don't know how he went from sumo to pro wrestling. And then he was with Baba, I think. Pretty sure it was Baba, wasn't it? He was with Baba for a long time. Mm-hmm. And came along. Maybe he wanted the number 2 spot over. Well, there was Baba and Sakaguchi, and then Jumbo Teruta. He carried all the Jack Briscoe or Dory Funk Jr. Well, not that Baba and those guys would work with him, but he would have the time. If they needed time, I would be with him. Put a half hour, 45 minutes in. They wanted money, time on the card. So Jumbo was like the number 2 guy after the Baba and Sakaguchi. And then how did the rest of them fell in there? I don't know. You'd have to be, Japanese local to know how that status, that caste system worked. Mm. Yeah, they were, that was kind of like, so I don't know if he broke off from Baba because he got tired, he wanted to, get a higher spot or higher thing or just work or somebody, he had friends that liked him or what got him to running his own company.
Right. Well, that was actually going to be how he ended up going to his own company. But so 94, he's running War. Wasn't it Wrestling Romance originally?
Yeah, I don't know. Revolution Wrestling Revolution.
Well, it was. I think it was Wrestling and Romance, and then it became Wrestle Association R, and then the R didn't stand for anything because they just couldn't think of a word, presumably.
Probably then became Revolution. I don't know. I don't know I don't know the roots of a lot of those things.
Tenru was a boss.
Good. Well, he's an old friend of mine.
Mm.
So he was all, a couple of times it hardly work. I'd go and stay in Tokyo and 2 shows for the week. Go for a week, and I was close to Clark Hatch's gym, so I could walk there through the Tokyo Tower Park and stuff, and walk back and eat. Eat at Clark Hatch's. They had a hamburger steak and a salad that was American. Zabo Towers in the Zabo, Japan, which is a rich area. I mean, 10-15 grand a month for little cracker box, apartment buildings.
One more thing then is he brings you over in 94, and then Don Muraco with, a huge name in the business for 25 years, sticks you under a mask, puts you in a singlet and calls you something like Akione. Why?
Akione, yeah. There was the thing that they thought that was great heat. Thought they was going to do that and, unmasked eventually, and goes out and says, you go there. I was supposed to be throwing paper or throwing something, a mist or something as I got in, and their impression is I'd be getting all kinds of heat from throwing shit all over the crowd. That didn't last too long.
No, I'm just looking at the people who you wrestled with. Kendo Nagasaki, but there's 2 Kendo Nagasakis, which is always confusing. Japanese version, and then I think the British one's original, but I could be wrong. I mean, you tag with Bob Backlund and Scott Putski, Kendo Nagasaki, and yeah. The original Kendo Nagasaki, I don't know, I think the original one was British, but maybe I'm wrong there.
That's a different guy. Yeah, he's somebody else.
Yeah.
He carried the kendo stick and did and Wida, the Tiger Jeet Singh and Wida. That was a different tour though. Yeah. But who's on that tour?
Kim Duck.
Daffy Duck, yeah.
Kim Duck. Wasn't he in like Red Heat or something with someone? I can't remember.
Arnold. He was on Arnold. He made himself one of Arnold's boys. I call Arnold. I tell Arnold.
Was this the guy who consistently kept putting tapes of his own films on the tour bus and constantly making everyone watch it, and then like talking about how Eddie Murphy loved him?
Could be. Yeah, he got that, he got that movie star. He got that movie. He was on that, I know he was in that movie. Yeah, Eddie Murphy was with, what's his name? With the kid, the Golden
Child, yeah.
Yeah. Eddie, and then he was, supposedly he had Arnold's ear. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right, Tiger Chung Lee. That's who it is. I knew the name.
Yeah, Kim Duck. Yeah, same guy. Tiger Chung Lee, yeah. The hell's his Japanese name?
Well, his real name is Masanori Taguchi.
Yeah. Tiger Taguchi, yeah.
I think we've mentioned it before, but Tiger Chung Lee, I mean, what was he just like to travel around with apart from talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger?
He was all right. Good work, big guy. Big Japanese, kendo stick, good worker. Good, not much in the promos, but they'd still, he get that Japanese heat going, with they didn't feature him too much. Not in WWF anyway. I don't know, other territories. He was a big guy, big Japanese.
Where was his best territory then? Because in the WWF, he was in very much enhancement.
Yeah, I don't know what was best. Probably for Watts, Oklahoma, or down south there. Anywhere they needed a Japanese heel.